You know, perhaps it's time for Sergio Perez to leave Red Bull on his own volition instead of waiting to get fired by Dr. Helmut Marko. First of all, it'll do a couple of things. It'll be better for him. Hi, Freddie B, by the way. It'll be better for him from a career standpoint and from a head standpoint. I'd much rather leave a place that I'm not wanted and go somewhere where I'm wanted than to stay where I'm not wanted. And I believe Checo is no longer wanted at Red Bull. And I don't think it's because he's a bad guy or a bad driver or whatever. I think it's because Dr. Helmut Marko has got a stick up his you-know-what for Checo, and I think it's causing dissension within the team. I don't think anything affects Max, quite frankly. But unfortunately, things do affect Checo. And I was going to get on here today and say Red Bull's done, but I hear that Red Bull's had another blurb in the media saying that they have confidence in Checo and Checo will stay. I got a feeling Daniel Ricciardo is going to be, and it's a long time between now and Zandvoort, so maybe Daniel Ricciardo is going to get that Red Bull ride that he's always wanted. I think Checo will be gone. Yuki stays there, and Liam Lawson. After Checo is offered the Red Bull V-car bribe, and he turns that down, I think Liam Lawson takes over that car. So where does Checo go? Well, that throws him into the driver mix with drivers without a car. Even though he has a contract, I think Red Bull will pay him not to drive for the end of the year, but then they will void his contract. So in 2025, where does Checo go? Well, there are 3 different teams that still have drivers. By the way, I think I might have said that Sainz was going to Williams. Wasn't that amazing? Again, pathetic picks. Freddie B's right. So, I also said everybody was going to Williams, so maybe I'm not so right. But interestingly, it was funny to hear Esteban Ocon and being told by Alpine that he can't be released because going to Williams would be sending Ocon to their rival, so they didn't want to lose a good driver to Williams as a rival. So, and then when you read what James Vowles said about trying to get Sainz, while Sainz was constantly on the radar and everything, was Ocon a distraction, and did Sainz get signed probably earlier than you and I will ever know. Anyway, so that is my Williams thoughts. Now, where does that leave Logan Sargent? He's going to race 10 more races in Formula 1. Is he going to get another Formula 1 job? Maybe, but not next year. It's very possible that Logan Sargent, unfortunately, it's a shame. After 2 years, he's got to go rehab his career. He's worked all his life to become a Formula 1 driver. He becomes a Formula 1 driver on let's face it, a team that wasn't very good. There's only 2 drivers, so you got to be 1 or 2, and he was the number 2 driver there. And, he deported himself well in a car that never had all the upgrades that Alex Albon's car had, was probably a generation behind Alex Albon because of financial constraints on Williams. They can't produce enough parts fast enough to get both cars upgraded at the same time, and he did what he could. He's a decent driver. I hope he goes to IRL. Rumor has it that Prima Racing, which is big in F2 and F3, is going to go over to Indy Racing League and race over there, which is a great racing league. They just need an updated car. And he's going to get in there, and he's going to race with other Formula 1 drivers like Ericsson and Romain Grosjean. And, it's going to become the IRL, maybe the dumping ground for the unused or the disappointed Formula 1 drivers. Who knows? Anyway, that's what's happening with Logan Sargent. So, where does Sergio Perez go? Well, let's see. Mercedes has got a spot. Wouldn't that be great if Sergio Perez went over to Mercedes, and with Mercedes' newfound speed and everything, he and George Russell, God bless him, I mean, he did get DQ'd, and that's a story for another day. But, and one of the things might have been, would you pick up 1.5 pounds of rubber if you went the whole lap around Zandvoort and picked up rubber like they do on every other regular race? I find it interesting that they don't allow the car to be weighed before they pull the fuel sample. But nonetheless, the rules are the rules, and George, unfortunately, is a victim, and I think Toto Wolff owes him a big apology. Maybe Perez goes to Mercedes, and maybe Perez in a Mercedes shows Red Bull that he is indeed a good and competitive driver. He goes out and he beats Mercedes. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be pretty cool if he did that. Or he could go Perez, because if he did indeed leave Red Bull, he would probably be the most sought-after driver, quite frankly. Think about what Perez has in his head regarding setups, race strategies, and the ability for racecraft that other teams could use. Maybe he goes to Audi Sauber. Imagine that team with Hülkenberg and Perez. That would be a pretty good starting team for a car that's everybody says is going to be last on the grid next year, which I don't think so once Audi gets full control of that team. Hulk and Perez would be a pretty good duo. I believe they're friends. They get along well. And it would be a good thing for Audi. So maybe Perez goes there because there's still that team that needs a driver. There's Mercedes. There's Alpine. And Perez could go to any one of those teams. We don't know. Now, Alpine needs a driver. Is it going to be Dunen, who is their backup driver? Or are they going to go after maybe Valtteri Bottas? I think Bottas could be back at Mercedes again. You never know. But the intrigue continues. As we go forward, I'll have more information on this. But for today, Checo is safe, according to Red Bull. But no other drivers are safe, and the pieces are falling into place. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you can, and hit that like button because that means the world to me. Thank you so much. Ta-ta for now.